impression and takeaway from the weekend of the draft and what you saw with your guys?
Well, I'm very happy for them. You got a group of guys that work very hard to not only help us win, but also improve their stock. And it was a goal of theirs to continue playing. And you're always happy for those guys when they get that opportunity.
You look at Jordan. He talked about coming back this year to improve his stock from where he was drafted last year. And he felt like he did it. And he felt like that was he got picked into the team and where he wanted to go to make that happen. Did you talk to him about that decision? It seemed like he made it pretty quick.
I talked to both Jordan and Kevin about the fact that they came back for the senior years, and they were both very happy about that. Jordan obviously had another year that he could have come back, but the decision that they made a year ago at this time to come back, they were both very happy with it. They were both picked, better. Kevin would have probably been picked a little bit higher if he would have had the injury late in the year. But I think they both helped themselves out. They were better baseball players and a year more mature and almost done with their degrees, which is probably the most important part.
When I talked to you last week about Thomas, you made it sound like he really needed to maybe come back and could really improve himself a lot for next year. What did you see about the move with him and him deciding to go?
Well, again, I'm very happy for him. He's a person that improved tremendously. He was not a draft out of high school. Probably one of the best defenders in the country. I thought it would have served him well to come back and continue to work on some things from an offensive standpoint and strength-wise. But he decided that it was in his best interest to go ahead and sign, and so we'll wish him the best, and I hope he's really successful and hope he's a big league.
Leaves you with some holes to fill. It's one of those, I guess, nice problems to have every year in your position. Where do you go from here in terms of a couple of guys that you could have had back next year, but now you have to fill those holes?
Well, good teams have those problems at times, and something we've dealt with in the past. I think we have very good players in the program. We'll have some guys that can step in, and obviously they don't have as much game experience, but they have talent. And so we'll work hard with them, and I know the players will work very hard. There'll be a lot of unknowns going into the fall. We'll have some guys that play multiple positions, and we'll see who can handle certain positions and see who does a good job offensively and get themselves in the lineup. So it's a fun time. You have a lot of question marks and maybe there's some anxieties, but it's a fun time because we'll see a lot of our players grow.
If recent history is any indicator, you guys should have a few more draft picks next year. What is it about the program? Are you getting lucky with talent, or to your own horn with a little player development, or what would you say it is?
Well, I think it's a combination. I think the staff's done a great job of bringing in good players, good athletes, and then the development portion. You look at what Eric Snyder's done and Drew Dickinson with the players that we have. It's a tribute to them. But probably the largest factor there is our players are very dedicated. They have a good attitude. They work hard. You can bring in great talent that doesn't work and doesn't care, and they never get better. So it's a tribute to the players and their mind frame and the things that they're willing to do, one, to make us successful as a team and to make themselves a better player.
Did anything surprise you about those four and how high or low they were taken? Did you think it was pretty fair, or did anything surprise you maybe about how high or low any of them were taken?
No, I think those were within the ranges. I never know exactly how the draft's going to unfold, and I think if you ask area scouts, they turn players in certain areas. But the thing that none of us know is what else is out there across the country. We just look in our little bubble here in the Midwest, and some of those players were some of the better players in the Midwest. But when you compare them to certain teams or players in another area on a given year, maybe they fit perfectly. A year from now, if you had the same players, maybe the Midwest is a little bit better than some other areas. So there's just certain things that you don't know, but I thought they were solid rounds for those guys.
Have you talked to Alex Greer about his future and what he's going to do after he was picked?
We've talked a little bit. Eric Snyder's talked to him a little bit more. He was the one that was involved with him in the recruiting process. Had a brief conversation because Alex is playing right now, and he and I have played phone tag, and he indicated that he hasn't really thought about it, was excited to be drafted, but I think he also understands what the education in Illinois would mean and the things that he could do from a round standpoint to help his signing bonus in the future.
As you look ahead to some of the pitchers you have coming back, you look at Kevin and John maybe as kind of being the anchors for that rotation next year. What did they have to work on this summer and heading into next year to really fulfill the potential that you want them to do for next year?
Well, first of all, they can't get complacent. A lot of times you have guys that have success and they think they can just walk in and duplicate the next year. And we've talked about some things with them as far as being better, not being satisfied with certain things they did. Both of them have things they need to work on, and they both understand that, and they're both in a good frame of mind. We required them to basically sit down and write out what they need to do over the summer to be better, and a specific plan for that. And I thought both of them were on a lot of things. There's a couple things that that we'll talk to them about that they may have left out, but it wasn't a thing of complacency. It was a work in progress, and I think they'll come back better players next year.
What do you think about Indiana?
Yeah, awesome. They were the best team we played all year. It was fun because I thought we stacked up against them. They stayed healthy all year, and 1 through 9, they're tough. That's really good for the Big Ten. I've said all year the Big Ten was better than it's ever been, and I thought there were 5 to 6 teams that could compete at that level. And Indiana got hot at the right time, and really happy for them. And from a selfish standpoint, happy for the conference.